So good morning everyone. Coming to expand on existing protocols, my name is Aisha Ibrahim, and the title of my presentation is the analysis of gender dynamics in agglomeration in terms of parboilers in rice processing clusters in Kano State, Nigeria. So I'll start by defining agglomeration economics, which is the benefits of firms being located in one particular area, which moves from specialization, access to input, and also labor pooling. So with agriculture as the mainstay of Nigerian economy, agricultural diversification needs to be among the top priorities of the Nigerian government due to the changing structure of agri-food demand, and it offers opportunities for value addition in agriculture. And value addition has to do with post-harvest processing and marketing, so as to enhance the local agriculture to be able to compete with imports and also meet local demand. And Nigeria has historically shown lack of commitment to building a strong agro-industrial sector, and these local businesses are actually struggling to meet up with the local demand, the standard, and also export. And these industries are scattered all over Nigeria. The informal sector, there's little studies of the informal sector in Nigeria. And they're actually scattered, some in clusters, some standing alone. So it's actually pertinent to know the advantages of these firms located in the one geographical location. And when you talk about post-harvest processing and marketing, you can't ignore the gender dimension. So the major objective of the study is to compare the effect of agglomeration economics on labor productivity between parboilers servicing the cluster and parboilers outside the cluster. So this work was wrapped around the theoretical framework of Marshall's Rad of External Economics of Industrial Localization and Porter's Competitive Diamond of Local Industrial Clustering, which brings us to the local pool of specialized labor, local supporting and ancillary trades, and local interfirm division of labor, all which are the benefits when these firms are located together. So the study was conducted in Kano State, which is located in northern Nigeria, and primary data was collected to address the study. A total of 634 parboilers were interviewed, 378 from within the cluster and 256 from outside the cluster. I used different effect estimators and the FGT poverty estimate, and also chi-square for transport significance. So for the effect of agglomeration on labor productivity, it was actually significant at 1% for the nearest labor matching, which shows that there's evidence of increased productivity amongst the women and youth in this cluster. There's no data for the men because of the low sample size, and when you're doing treatment effect estimation, when there's a small sample size, it actually doesn't analyze for the data. So it shows that there's evidence of increased productivity due to those elements of agglomeration economics in the cluster. So when checking the welfare of these parboilers in the cluster compared to those outside the cluster, there's actually no difference because they are still poor. Those in the cluster, even with all those benefits, they are still at almost the same poverty level with those outside the cluster, which shows also from other studies from other clusters around Africa that there's actually potential for these clusters in Africa, but they are stagnant and their potential remains untapped. So I actually did a chi-square test of significance using their income, and the chi-square tab was higher than the chi-square cap, which means that, okay, there's actually no difference irrespective of those potentials. The increase in labor productivity, additional firms coming up, because in Kano State is irrigation project that brought to the rise of this rice production. So that was how these clusters came up. It's a natural cluster. It's not that the government set it up. It was due to the advantage. So in conclusion, Agglomeration economics proved to be a great asset to parboilers in the cluster as it led to increase in enterprises and productivity, but it had no effect on their welfare. So this natural cluster should be able to shift from stagnation to growth. As I said earlier, their potential to contribute to the economy remains untapped, and this is typical of most clusters in Africa, agro-industrial clusters to be specific. So the study found out that these parboilers in the cluster had there was a very low percentage of cooperative membership. So awareness regarding the advantages of this cooperatives should be increased, and also the cooperatives should be set up to boost productivity. And improved parboiling practices should be introduced. There's this false bottom parboiling practice which brings out a better output of milk rice, because parboiling is the most labor-intensive part of parboiling. It affects the of rice milling. So if its rice is not well parboiled, the output of the rice will not be good. So it's very crucial. And we have very successful clusters outside agriculture, like GSM Market in Aba is a cluster, GSM Market in Lagos, then the automobile cluster in Aba. They are all successful. I think we can transfer all these things, lessons learned from them, to the agro-industrial clusters we have.